Hi, my name is Robert. I turned 24 a few months ago. It's crazy how at such a young age, I have seen things that have affected me greatly and had deep consequences in my life. My own family tried to sabotage my plans for their own selfishness and led me to experience such weird circumstances. You are probably confused about what I'm saying. To make it easier for you to understand, I will start telling you my story from the very beginning. I was brought up in a relatively rich household. We used to live in a posh neighborhood with some other upper-class families and such. My family had a pretty good bonding with all of these neighbors, but they were really close to one of the families in particular. I'm talking about my best friend, Cecilia's family. Cecilia and I had been friends since we were born. You know, something to do with spending all our time together because our parents forced us to. Well, I didn't mind, because I was glad for Cecilia anyway. I was an introvert, and socializing was not easy for me, so I really didn't have many friends. Cecilia was one of the few people who talked to me and kept me company, so you can imagine how a huge portion of my time was spent with her. I guess that was the reason that I developed a crush on her. I really don't know when it happened or how it happened. I just remember that I used to think about her a lot, and how fun it was with her all the time. So the 5-year-old me developed a crush on her, without even meaning to. I was so young that I didn't even understand my feelings toward her. It was only a few years later that I realized how attracted I was towards Cecilia. And, well, she was my best friend, so this wasn't going to end well for either of us. I didn't want to ruin our friendship, but I guess I made my feelings too obvious. Cecilia was pretty smart in general, and she could read me like an open book, so it didn't take her long to figure out that I liked her. When she confronted me about this, I was scared out of my mind. I was expecting her to give me a clear yes or no, but what she did was much worse. She humiliated me. You really think that I would ever date someone like you? She had laughed. Have you seen me? All the boys in schools are dying to date me. Why would I choose you when I have a better option? Ouch. That hurt. More so because I hadn't expected her to be so rude about it. She didn't have to look down upon me like that. But what's more pathetic was the fact that despite everything, I still couldn't get rid of my feelings for her. Throughout middle school and even high school, she used every opportunity she could to berate me and humiliate me in front of everyone. I was not popular to begin with, and Cecilia parading around the school announcing that a loser like me had a crush on her wasn't doing any good for my reputation. This was not where she stopped, though. She dated almost the entire male population of our school right in front of my eyes, through all of those years, while keeping me in the friend zone. I know what you were thinking, I should have just moved on from her and ignored her. But it was not that easy. No matter what I did, my feelings for her remained the same. And, as I already said, she was one of the few people who I was friends with. Actually, I only had 2 friends. One was Cecilia, and the other was Chase. Well, as the last straw, Cecilia sabotaged my friendship with Chase. She dated him, and kissed him right in front of my eyes. And I would have been okay with that if Chase hadn't been so smug about it and rubbed it on my face. Both of them did this despite knowing how I would feel. If I remained friends with them even after this, then I would have been a first-class fool. Thankfully, high school was over by then, and I had to start looking for colleges. I wanted a fresh start, that's why I decided to move to another state for college. My dad was against this. He wanted me to get enrolled in the same prestigious college to which Cecilia had applied. Like heck I would. I refused clearly, and stated that I was going to move and it didn't matter what kind of college I got. I just wanted to be away from the place that had bitter memories of my childhood and teenage years. If you go against me on this, then I will cut off your funding, Dad threatened. Why can't you just be obedient and go to a good college? I've already told you the reason, I replied. I don't care about my funding. The college I am going to is really cheap. I'm pretty sure that I can sustain myself with the help of a few part-time jobs. You will regret your decision later, Robert, Dad sighed. I'll be waiting for you to come back, crying to me. Sure, we'll see about that, I replied. And soon after that, I moved across the country. I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous and afraid because of what Dad had said. And this was my first time being by myself. It was pretty daunting. But I had to break free of the loser image that I had been awarded in my school years, and nothing could be better than having a fresh start. I actually started making effort to socialize with others. The fact that they were not like the snobby rich kids in my previous school helped a lot. Everyone was kind and polite to me. I made a lot of friends pretty quickly and was surprised at my skills myself. It was hard for me to believe others when they used to compliment me on my looks or anything else. Cecilia had broken my self-esteem completely. But, I must say, moving to a different state for college was a good move on my part. It was doing wonders for my confidence and social life. And, guess what? I was able to move on from Cecilia as if it were nothing. Well, I can't take complete credit for that, though. I would have to thank my girlfriend, Elsa, here. Yes, you heard that right. I got a new girlfriend in college. Her name was Elsa, and to me, she was the most gorgeous girl to ever exist in the world. It shocked me how she was dating someone like me. What's even more surprising was the fact that she approached me first. We knew each other through mutual friends, but I never thought that she would even think of me romantically, because I knew better than to hope. However, she came to me while we were in the class one day. "I heard that you're good with solving the numerical," she said. "Can you help me with it?" Yeah, sure," I replied nervously. So in the beginning, I sort of tutored her every day after classes were over. We started spending more and more time together, and in no time, she made remarkable progress. The day our test results came out, she had come and hugged me in excitement. "Oh my God, Robert," she explained. "Thanks to you, I scored such good grades on the test." "That's great," I smiled, "though it was all because of your hard work." "But it wouldn't have been possible if you didn't dedicate your time to me," she replied. "Come on, I'll treat you. Are you free for dinner today?" How could I refuse? This dinner turned out to be my first date. I wasn't expecting anything, honestly. But it was Elsa who brought up the subject. "So," she started nervously, "we've been spending so much time together that I've kind of got habituated to you. And I like your company. You're not like other guys who talk to me only when they want something. You're genuine, and I think I like you a lot." I gaped at her for a few seconds before coming back to my senses. Was this real? No girl had ever been interested in me before this, so I was having a hard time digesting this. "I like you too, Elsa," I admitted. And, well, we started going out. Elsa was more popular than me at our college, so everyone was shocked to see her going out with me. It took me a few days myself to actually believe that she was dating me. I kept trying to figure out if she had hidden motives or if she wanted something from me. But Elsa seemed really sincere to me. During the holidays, I was visiting home, and I wanted Elsa to meet my parents, so I brought her with me. It was probably the biggest mistake of my life. My mom and dad acted really cold towards her, making me feel embarrassed and bad for her. "Dad, this is my girlfriend, Elsa," I had introduced nicely. "I wanted you to meet her." Dad gave a nod to Elsa. "I am Jerome. I think you already know about me, since my company is pretty famous." "Yeah, I have often seen your company making news headlines," Elsa answered politely. "Of course," Dad replied. "What about you and your family, though? What does your dad do?" My dad is a high school teacher," Elsa replied with a smile. "We are a middle-class family with a normal lifestyle." "That's a shame," Dad said, making my eyes widen. "Why is Robert dating you, then? He won't be good for his future." "Dad, stop!" I exclaimed. "Are you serious right now? I'm dating Elsa because I love her. What's it to you? Money and background are not everything, you know. A rich person can have a crappy personality, too, and I have first-hand experience of that." Dad opened his mouth to no doubt humiliate us further, but I raised a hand and stopped him from saying anything. "We're leaving," I said. "You don't have to waste your breath, Dad." I gestured for Elsa to follow me to the main door, before leaving, though. I suddenly recalled something that I had planned some time ago and wanted to tell Dad. I turned around to face him. "This summer, I will be going to Africa for 1 year to do some humanitarian and charity work." Dad's face went completely pale. I wasn't even surprised. "You can't do that, Robert!" he almost yelled. "You can't waste money like that! And you shouldn't take a drop year for such ridiculous things!" I shook my head. "This is not wasting money, Dad. I want to do some good work and spread positivity. You're a millionaire, for God's sake. Can you be a little more open-minded?" "No, you're not going, and that's final," he declared. "And if you don't listen to me, then this time I will really cut off your allowances for an indefinite period of time." I didn't care about it before, and I don't care now. I wasn't going to tell this to Dad, but I had saved enough money in the past 18 years. Whenever he gave me an unnecessary amount of money to spoil me, I used to simply add it to my savings. And surprisingly, after 18 years, it had become a huge amount. It was more than I needed for myself, but my dad was better off not knowing this. Otherwise, he would just find a way to get his hands on my savings. Elsa and I left after that. It had been a mistake on my part to bring Elsa to my home. I thought that Dad might have changed by now, but he was still the same rich, snobby person I knew. I'm sorry about my dad, I apologized to Elsa on our way back. I swear I had no idea that he would behave like this. Hey, it's completely okay, she said with a smile. Besides, don't be sorry. It wasn't even your fault. You intervened in time and prevented things from getting out of hands. I'm thankful. I nodded. Thank you so much for understanding. Any other girl would have probably left me by now. Elsa laughed. You're stuck with me, okay? Oh, by the way, what was that about going to Africa and doing charity work? When were you going to tell me? I scratched my neck. I was going to tell you, but didn't know how to bring it up. I don't want you to be mad or upset because I'll be gone for 1 year. She mused. I am mad, but not for the reason you were thinking. I'm mad that you hid it from me. As for being upset, we can do something about it, yeah? What? I asked in confusion. I will go with you, she replied. It will be a nice break from the toxicity of our lives. I have always wanted to do charity work anyway. So, this is the perfect opportunity. Really? My mouth dropped open in shock. You don't mind taking a drop for this? She shrugged. As I said, I want to take a break from everything. And this way, I also get to graduate at the same time as you. Well, she was right. And I couldn't be happier that she had decided to accompany me on this trip. So, that was settled. We returned back to our college, and life assumed its normal pace. Everything was going fine until one day. I saw Cecilia in the college. Yes, I am talking about Cecilia, my childhood best friend who had ruined my high school years. I don't know what she was doing in my college, but her arrival sure had created a buzz within the student community. I hoped that she was just visiting and had not actually enrolled. But, of course, my life had to work against me. I tried to avoid running into her, but she sought me out in the cafeteria. She ran towards me and grabbed my arm before I could escape. Robert, I have been trying to find you the whole day, she huffed. Were you avoiding me? Yes, I replied honestly. I have no interest in talking to you. That's mean, she frowned. Why do you have to be so rude? I came all this way just for you. What do you mean? I asked, shaking off her hold on my arm. I wanted to be with you, so I decided to enroll here, she said, giving me a flirtatious smile. Isn't that too nice of me? I don't want you here, I told her. And don't even try to cross any limits. I have a girlfriend. I left before she could say anything. Why the heck was she here all of a sudden? And what did she mean because of me? Since when was she interested in me? Something was really fishy here. How could Cecilia enroll in my college in the middle of a semester? Unless she used some connections. And what did she want from me now? Whatever. I had better things to do than to worry about her. I just had to steer clear of her and everything should be fine. But, of course, Cecilia was here with a motive, and she wasn't just going to keep me alone. For the next few days, she tried to get my attention in any way she could. When I still ignored her, she adopted a new tactic. She started following me around everywhere. I don't know what she did or how much money she paid to the person concerned, but she got her class routine matched to mine, so that she was now in every class that I used to attend. By now, even Elsa was aware of Cecilia, but she didn't share many classes with me, so she didn't know how bad it was. She just asked me to be careful and tell her if I needed anything. I didn't want to stress her out, that's why I kept most of the things to myself. Cecilia's behavior, however, had started bordering to stalking now. One day she even followed me to my apartment. I had to literally yell at her and kick her out before she could do anything. She went away that day, but the next day in college, she cornered me in the crowded cafeteria. "Robert, please stop being so rude and give me a chance to talk," she said loudly for everyone to hear. I inhaled a sharp breath. "What do you want? I told you already that I don't want anything to do with you." "We used to be freaking best friends," she yelled. "Just because you're in a different state now, you forgot all the time we spent together? Why are you so mean to me? I'm just trying to tell you about my feelings here. I really like you and I want you to come back with me." "Cut the crap, Cecilia." I rolled my eyes. "You don't like me. Just tell me, what do you really want?" "You have changed a lot, Robert." She shook her head. "You were the one who had feelings for me first. Didn't you desperately beg me to date you?" "I did have feelings for you, but I gave you space," I replied. "I respected the fact that you didn't like me back, and you still went ahead and walked all over me. Our friendship ended then and there. I feel nothing but disgust when I look at you now." She started shedding fake tears. Wow, some nerve she had. I was pretty sure that she was doing it to gain everyone's sympathy and pressure me into accepting her. But I knew better. "Stop wasting your time, Cecilia," I said in the end. "I have a girlfriend who I love very much. You can go back now." That was the last interaction I had with her before her behavior took a turn for the worse. She wasn't stalking me anymore, but she started tailing after Elsa. I didn't know about this at first, but things were put into perspective when Elsa stopped taking my calls 2 weeks before our flight schedule for Africa. She would run in a different direction every time I tried to approach her in college. And Cecilia used to watch all of this with a smirk. It didn't take much time for me to put 2 and 2 together. She had definitely done something to break my relationship with Elsa. But the fact was that I didn't care about it at that moment. I was so depressed about the fact that I had lost a beautiful thing with Elsa. She just dumped me without giving me a chance to explain or even ask what I had done wrong. Soon, the day we were supposed to depart for Africa arrived, and I didn't have it in me to go to the airport and take the flight. Elsa and I were supposed to go together, and we had planned the whole thing in advance. But she just ruined all of our plans so easily. I was so down that day, and Cecilia decided to attack me in a vulnerable moment. She came to my house, and I was too tired to even ask her to leave. "I know how you are feeling, Robert," she said sadly, "but please trust me on this. I didn't say anything to Elsa. I was just trying to be friends with her. Besides, don't you think that she was never good for you if she let you go that easily?" I didn't reply. "You know what, Robert? You need a break," she continued. "Come on a trip with me. I will book us tickets to Cuba." "No," I said sternly, standing up and going inside my room, slamming the door shut. I was not in the mood to talk to anyone, let alone Cecilia. I went to bed and stared at my ceiling the whole night, thinking about this and that. The next morning, when I got out of my room, I found Cecilia lying on the sofa. She woke up from the noise and glanced up at me. "I'm sorry, I crashed here," she said. "It got really late last night. Anyway, how are you feeling?" Now I felt bad for being rude to her. It seemed like she really cared, though I was still skeptical about her intentions. But I had given it a thought all night. I needed a break, and a trip to Cuba didn't sound that bad right now. I could go enjoy myself and get my mind off of things. "I'll come with you," I said, "to Cuba. You can book the tickets." Cecilia squealed in joy and hugged me. "Yes! I knew it! You can never refuse me." Wow, she was delusional. Well, let her be. All I cared about was my own enjoyment. But, of course, my life didn't care about my enjoyment. And this trip couldn't go smoothly. When we arrived to Cuba, I realized what Cecilia had planned. She had invited all of her girlfriends from all over the world to spend the vacation with us. She had even booked the whole resort exclusively for us, and provided me with every luxury possible. "You know, I hate extravagant things," I said. "I want it to be simple." "Oh, come on, Robert." She placed a hand on my shoulder. "You are the heir of a big company. You should start playing the part now. At least adapt to the lifestyle. It will help you a lot." I shook off her hand. "I don't want to." "Come on, don't ruin the fun." One of our friends walked up to me. "All of us flew down here to make this time special for you." I raised an eyebrow. "I don't even know any of you." "Oh, but you will get to know us soon," she replied cheekily. I made a disgusted face and walked to my room, locking myself in. What the heck was happening? Who were all these girls, and why were they showering me with all these luxury items? I'd given up on such things a long time ago. I didn't want to turn out like my dad. I liked staying simple. Over the next few days, it became clear what these girls were trying to do. They were trying to brainwash me into going for the materialistic way of life. Why the heck did it matter to them? My life was my business. Who were they to force me to do something that I didn't want? But the problem was that I was stuck with all these girls in an isolated resort. I tried to escape, but I realized that my passport and card was missing. I didn't even need to guess who was behind this. Cecilia was the only one who could do such a thing. She was leading a sort of reprogramming cult with her girlfriends and trying to make me accept what she was offering. But the question was, why? What was she going to gain from this? This was downright ridiculous. If I had to find out her real motive, I had only one option. I had to pretend to fall for their reprogramming. I took one whole day to come up with a solid plan. This was my only chance to find out everything. I started pretending to be started to materialistic things now. I accepted all the luxury that I was offered. I even put the second part of my plan into action and made out with all of Cecilia's girlfriends right in front of her eyes over the course of a few weeks. Every time she would come and try to get close to me, I pushed her away, saying that she was just a friend to me. This was revenge for what she did in high school. It was so satisfying to watch the look on her face every time she saw me making out with her friends. But this was not where I stopped. I wasn't about to let her get over me so easily. I kept giving her hints and flirted with her, leading her on, but right when she would try to come closer, I shattered all her hopes. I wasn't having fun doing this and even felt somewhat guilty, but I needed to give her a taste of her own medicine. How could I forget that she had broken up my perfect relationship with Elsa? And for those times when she had just stalked me and disturbed my mental peace, I revenged by stalking her back. I followed her every move, and I could easily tell that she was having a hard time getting me out of her head. I was just wanting for her to mess up and blow her cover one day. And that day arrived sooner than I had expected. She made a mistake. A big one at that. She sent me a message that was meant for my dad. That's how deeply I occupied her mind. The message read, "Hey Jerome, thank you so much. I have received the payment and got you your money's worth. Robert is now convinced about the new direction that he needs to take in life. It won't be difficult for you to convince him to work for your company now. He is chasing money now. You can expect him to be back home soon." Now I finally understood everything. So, my dad was the one who sent Cecilia to stalk me and turn me into a materialistic person just so I could follow his orders. Wow. These people were setting new lows for everything. They were the literal personification of how much a person could fall for his greed. It was time to form another plan now and completely disarm my dad, the mastermind behind everything. I confronted Cecilia and told her I know the truth. She was a bit taken aback, but recovered quickly and pretended like nothing ever happened. I didn't expect anything more from her. She had no morals at all, and she could do anything for money. That's why I gave her an offer that she couldn't refuse. "I will give you double the amount of money that he gave you if you help me in taking him down," I said. Her eyes shone greedily. "Are you playing a prank on me?" "I can make the advance payment right now," I said. "You just have to agree to go through with my plan." She instantly nodded. "What do I have to do?" "Seduce my dad," I replied. "You have to make him fall for your charms and then get him alone. When he tries to get closer to you, I will record a video and post it online to ruin his image." Her eyes widened. "Wow, you sure are evil." I snorted. "People like you and my dad bring out the worst on me. Tell me, did he even pay you to break my relationship with Elsa?" She shrugged. "Of course, I don't do things for free, and my loyalty lies with the person who pays me more, so right now, I'm on your side." I shook my head. This is just a one-time thing. I hope we never see each other again after all of this is over. After that, we got out of there and flew back to my home. I was going to play along with Dad's plan and pretend to have come to my senses and show interest in the company. This was necessary so that Cecilia could get the chance to get closer to him. So, I placed a stone on my heart and apologized to my so-called dad who took pleasure in ruining my life. He laughed and pulled me in a hug, making me feel sick and disgusted. "I knew that you will realize your mistakes one day," he said. "You are my son, after all." I just nodded along with whatever he said and started taking interest in company matters. Meanwhile, Cecilia started laying her trap. She flirted with my dad at every chance she got, and I could tell that he was slowly falling for her game. Finally, one day I received a text from Cecilia that she was meeting Dad alone at her own house, since her parents were out of the country. I sneaked inside her house at the right time and slowly shoved the door open, which Cecilia had conveniently left unlocked for me. I was disgusted at the sight in front of me. My dad was openly flirting with Cecilia. He even made a move on her and tried to kiss her. I got everything on the camera and didn't waste any time in uploading it online. I even uploaded it on the company website, and within no time, the video went viral. Well, you can easily guess what happened next. My dad's clean image was completely shattered, and everyone now knew his truth. Even the company was affected because of him, and there was a collective demand to remove him from the CEO position. By a majority vote, the board of directors decided that I should replace my dad temporarily before any other solution could be found. I had no desire of taking over the company, but I understood the crisis, so I agreed. It was only temporary anyway. But just as I had thought that everything was going to fall in place and I could finally get rid of my dad's negative influence, I was thrown into an unexpected situation. My dad and Cecilia went missing one day, and the evidences they left behind led to me. The police suspected me for having a grudge against my dad and filming the video so that I could take his position. There was also some fabricated evidences that went against me, and now I am the prime suspect in the case. Moreover, I can do nothing to prove my innocence. I have no idea how I'm going to get out of this one. But the more important question is, where did Dad and Cecilia go?